Are you or anybody close to you that lives in your current household working from home? Or did they start working from home during the pandemic? Well, I was one of those people that started working from home during the pandemic, and I can personally say that I absolutely loved it. I can't speak for everybody, but I can try and convince you that it is a great idea to start working from home. Now, working from home became very big during the pandemic. Um, a lot of companies took on the idea of work from home and made it possible. I know Geico was one of the companies that had to distribute laptops for everybody because they all had their own actual desktop computers. So they made it possible for everybody to work from home during the pandemic. Now, Gallup News stated that actually 67% of in office jobs were working exclusively from home. And that's a large number of in office employees that would be working from home. Now, if you look at the pros of working from home, I feel like they personally outweigh the cons. Now, with the pros, there's no commute. So essentially, you're saving on gas and you're also saving time for yourself in the morning to sleep a little longer, And also, if you wake up early, you can make breakfast for yourself, without having to stop at Tim Hortons or Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts and pick up like a, you know, egg sandwich that you want or sausage, egg, and cheese sandwich that you want or a coffee. All this can be done at home. Now, to touch on the food again, your lunch breaks will be cheaper as well because you're going to be making food from home. Now, I know a lot of people only have short breaks, like a 30-minute break, so they don't have that time to do that. But, instead of grabbing a snack from the vending machine at the cafeteria at your job, instead you'll be grabbing a snack from home that you've already paid for and bought. So you'll be able to take advantage of that food that you bought for the week. And a huge thing for me was more family time. Now, when you're working from home, you're able to get on right when you work and get off right when you're done. And as soon as you're done, you can just go and enjoy your family. For me personally, I had a newborn during the time, so I was able to go downstairs and see him, without having to wait another 30, 45 minutes driving from my job in rush hour traffic to get home to see him. So that was great for me. And another thing is it's better for your well-being. A lot of people said that they felt a lot better working from home. They didn't feel that stress of being in an office. So that's one of the other pros for working from home. Now there are a couple cons. A couple of the cons are, it's easy to misread the cues through electronic communications. So that means, through an email, through a message on like an instant messaging platform that your company has, it's very easy to misread those cues because it sounds better in person if somebody says something to you rather than just a message or an email. It could be, misconstrued and, taken the wrong way for that matter. Another con is less in-person time with your coworkers, which it can be a big factor, especially when you think about, networking. And, they say that networking is huge to, developing yourself in a company and moving up and finding different departments to work into. And, you really can't do that when you're working from home because, you don't want to send a random email or random instant message to somebody just to chat. It's a lot easier to do that when you're actually in the office. And finally, one thing that I actually kind of miss out on and, is no in-office perks. You don't get those, benefits that your office has for you. So it may have like a gym at your, at your office. I know some companies do have a gym. They might have even a daycare there where you can drop your kid off and, you don't have to worry about having to watch them while you work. And then also another is obviously the cafeteria, which, give or take, you're saving money, but, sometimes the cafeteria food is good. So I do relate to some of those cons, but I feel like the pros generously outweigh the cons. Now, if you're thinking about the pros, like I said, you got that family time. It's huge, especially when you have a newborn, being around for the kid. If you get off at 5 o'clock and takes you about 30 minutes to get home, then you have dinner and you only have about an hour, maybe an hour and a half to see that newborn. And it's, really generate that relationship really well that you have with them. And even with your significant other, you miss out on a lot of that time together. And another thing, saving on money, you'd be able to, save money on gas, save money on food. So then you can take that money and put it elsewhere, maybe in a savings account for a future vacation, or, put it away into an investment account, which you can build for your future. So, those are two big things that I think really outweigh the other two. Now, if you think about it, is work from home the new future for office jobs? In my opinion, I think it is. According to Right.com, productivity has increased from 20 to 25% for employees compared to in-office employees. So that's a big benefit for companies. If your employees are producing more, you're going to get more bang for your buck pretty much for paying this employee. Another thing is to save on team building. So those in-office perks that you receive, you're saving money on that by not providing that to, the employees because they're not in the office. And another thing too is, you're paying for that office lease, so you're also saving money on that as well. And another thing actually Indeed brought up was your talent pools are expanded. So if you have a company that is based out of Texas, for example, and you live in Buffalo, you normally wouldn't think you'd be able to get that job because you'd have to relocate your whole family, so you don't decide to apply for the job. Now, if the company goes exclusively work from home, then you have that chance to, apply to that company and, possibly expand your career just by having the ability to work from home. And finally, another thing that helps companies is just fewer sick days. The idea of, the pandemic keeping everybody away from each other to avoid the spread of that, of COVID itself, also keeping them home avoids the spread of other employees getting sick from other employees and, using up more sick days. Because if you're sitting next to somebody who's sick, you're going to get sick, I'd say maybe 8 times out of 10, just because you're in that vicinity. So your employees are using less sick days, they're being more productive, and you're also saving money as a company. So in my opinion, I think work from home is the new future. I think that, there should be a push for everybody to, encourage their company, if it's an office job, to work from home. And it's just better all around. You get better well-being for your employees. You have more family time for your employees, and then you also have them saving money as well. So I think this, working from home is the new future, and I believe it should be adapted by almost every company. And I hope to see that is the case in the future.